Welcome to the Living a Nordic Life podcast, where we explore a simpler, cosier and more intentional life the Nordic way. I'm Fiona McKenna, your Nordic living guide and founder of Living a Nordic Life, where I share all things Nordic living and show you that a Nordic life is the way to bring intentional calm and healthy habits into your own life, wherever you are in the world. Are you looking for ways to bring simplicity, coziness and calm into your life? Well, let me show you how. Visit the Living a Nordic Life website to explore how I can help you on your journey to simple, healthy and happy calm, the Nordic way. You can subscribe to the podcast right here. And if you want regular inspirational emails sent with love from Norway and straight to your inbox, don't forget to subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters. And so now let's dive into our episode. Hello and welcome to this episode. And I want to talk to you today about something I talk about rather a lot actually. It's Friluftsliv. And I want to talk to you about reasons why you should love it. But do you know what Friluftsliv is? It's something that is very Nordic and it's about getting outside. It literally means open air life, open air living. And it's something that is a really integral part of Nordic living, not just here in Norway, but in all the Nordic countries and the whole of Scandinavia, really. And I think you probably find it everywhere else too, if you start looking. But it really is very important here, and people appreciate how good getting outside is for your health. It's all about making the most of the outdoors, and it can be anything from a week of backpack hiking, through the mountains and places where you really can't get to with a car, or simply getting outside for the evening into your garden. But the most important part of it is the effect it has on your mental and physical health. Now, we know it would have an effect on your mental health if you're moving about, but that really also has a huge impact on your mental health too. There's something really liberating about seeing sky and taking a deep breath of fresh air if you can, or at least going and being in nature or being around trees, for example. You know, wherever we are, there's always a tree somewhere, isn't there? You can hear some bird song, something like that. But getting outside can sometimes feel like a bit of a chore, can't it? It can be hard work. Do we want to? You know, is it easier just to sit on the settee and watch a bit more Netflix? And then suddenly, before you know it, it's too late. I mean, sitting down is the worst part for me. You know, you don't do that. You just have to keep moving. But we can also be made to feel guilty about not spending time outside. And it's easier just to chill out, isn't it, than to get a pair of trainers on or a pair of hiking boots and actually get outside. But once you're outside the door, once you make that move and you step over the threshold, then you're halfway there. But I'm not going to try and send you on the guilt train, you know, to Guiltville, because you're not actually getting outside every day like we do here in the Nordics. I want to offer you a little bit of gentle encouragement to get you out and maybe give you a bit of a nudge to get outside into the fresh air. So let me tell you about some reasons why you should love Friluftsliv. For a start, it lifts your mood. The calm and the peace of nature can never fail to gently lift your mood. It raises your base level of happiness. You might not necessarily feel it coming, but by the time you get home, you feel like a different person. You've been outside, you've moved a bit, which is always good for you, isn't it? Even if you're moving slowly. But also it's very good for you mentally. And you move your body. Even a slow stroll or an amble is moving your body. You're getting the blood flowing, you're getting those extra steps in. You don't need to count them, you know, we want to make this fun. Unless you find that fun, maybe you do. It's quite motivating, isn't it? But walking has been proven to be incredibly good for our health. And it's something that can be done at your own speed and in your own way and with the minimum amount of equipment. You just need a pair of shoes. Well, you might not even need a pair of shoes if you want to walk through a park and you know it's clean. But that's all you need. And while you're out, you're breathing fresh air. This is my point number 3. Take a deep breath. Really do that. If you're somewhere where there's no pollution, you're away from cars, take a deep breath. The air smells different in nature. It's fresh. It smells of plants or moss or leaf litter or sea air. But it's different to being inside. Close your eyes and take a minute to recognise all those smells. Remember them and how it makes you feel, how good it makes you feel. You're more connected to nature. Of course we are. We're outside, aren't we? Hopefully we're connected to nature. And you notice things like the seasons, the subtle changes in the days, and the way nature adapts to it. It might be something big, like colour changes of a forest, or something tiny, like how the ants are outside your door. Whichever way you notice it, it connects you to the outside world and your place in it. And that's very good for us. My next point is you make exciting discoveries. You're not always going to make exciting discoveries if you stay inside all the time, are you? But not all discoveries need to be on the same scale as Columbus or Sir Francis Drake. You know, that's great, but we don't need to make discoveries that big. Daily discoveries can be found in looking over a gate, or taking a different path through a park that makes you feel like you've stepped into another place, another world. And it allows you to let your imagination wander. If you want to make big discoveries and, you know, spend a Sunday like we do here, going out and discovering something new and really hiking all day, that's amazing, wonderful, good for you. But if you want to make small discoveries, you can do that too. You just have to be open to it. Look for them. You might discover a new sport. Friluftsliv is not always about hiking and walking, although I think the majority of it probably is, because it's easy, isn't it? But all the outdoor sports that you could possibly think of are also part of Friluftsliv as well. They're outside. Everything from frisbee golf to canoeing to skiing to hang gliding to grilling outdoors. And if you're outside, you're enjoying Friluftsliv. Try a few new activities if you can. Be a little bit brave. Once you get out there a bit, you know, you'll probably feel that you can try something new. And you might discover a new passion. Even just hiking might suddenly become a passion of yours. It is exciting and it's gentle. You can do it whenever you want. Your worries seem less serious when you're outside. Now, I'm not going to try and trivialise anyone's worries or concerns at all. I would never do that. But being outside in nature can put things into perspective for you. And being in a wide open space can open up your mind. For that time that you're outside, you could put away any worries for just a short time. You can let your mind wander and appreciate what you have around you. Notice things, be there in that moment, and be grateful for trees and plants and the animals that we have around us. You might not always see those animals, you might hear them if you're lucky, but you'll probably hear and see some birds. Letting your subconscious rest for a time, you might find that answers just present themselves to you, to your problems. And if they don't, you have at least allowed yourself, your mind, to have a little holiday from that worry. I mean, try it. What do you have to lose? It's worth a go, isn't it? You enjoy something that's not consumer-based. And whichever way we cut it, we are governed by a certain amount of consumerism, aren't we? We can't help it. It's there. What we need to buy to survive, how we need to get it, our earnings, are they enough? Do we need to earn more? Working. Friluftsliv allows us the freedom to forget about that for a period. Like I was just saying about your worries seem a bit less serious. There are no shops in the forest, no adverts on a mountain, no pressure to buy. And if you're walking in a park and you pass a kiosk, keep walking. You don't have to stop. You have a choice. You are allowed to walk past. You don't need to constantly be under pressure to be a consumer. You can leave that for a bit. Make that conscious choice. At this point while I'm out, I don't have to buy anything. I don't have to look in shop windows. Just leave it behind if you can. It's really good for you. You challenge yourself. Can you take those extra steps? Can you walk that extra few metres or maybe an extra mile? Can you swim just a little bit further? Or maybe you're a little bit nervous of being out in an environment that can seem rather daunting. Not everybody finds the forest this warm, welcoming hug. Some people do find it frightening. It's a big open space. Am I going to get lost? Is something going to bite me? Is there something there that is going to bring some harm to me? Am I going to enjoy being out on my own? You know, you're challenging yourself by stepping out there. But you could push yourself to do a small amount more each time you go out, within your own limits, of course. You could even record your efforts in a notebook or on an app. I mean, we want to leave technology a little bit if we can, but you know, if you've got an app and you could put it in your pocket on your phone, then you can look at it when you get back. That's motivating, isn't it? And it's great for our self-esteem to look back at where we were when we first started this journey and where we are now, and we can celebrate. Goodness, you know, before I could only walk 1,000 steps. Now I've done 10,000 steps, and that's only 6 months. How brilliant is that? Or I was frightened to go out into the woods. I didn't want to do that alone because there might be something horrible out there. But now I'm quite happy to go out. I'm not worried about touching things because I can wash my hands when I get back, or I can wipe my hands on some moss, or I can even wash my hands in a stream, if it's safe to do that. You learn to accept all weathers and find the joy in it. Now, that's something that we do so much here. And that's one thing that always put me off getting outside when I lived in England. It was the weather. We do get a lot of rain there, I have to say. And we get a lot of wind with it as well. So the rain doesn't come down straight. You can't think, yeah, it's going to come down on top of me. It's not. It's going to come from all the sides, straight in your face, at your back, everywhere. And since living in Norway, I've learned a valuable lesson. And that is that there's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothing. It's a maxim that all Nordic countries adopt, and it's one that we should all have, really. We get some fairly extremes of temperature in Norway, from 30 degrees centigrade in the summer, which is hot, to minus 30 degrees centigrade in the winter. And all the things in between, all the things that come with that, you know, things like thunderstorms in the summer because it has got so hot, and a lot of snow in the winter. But once you've enjoyed the beauty of being outside on a very cold winter's day, you'll always want to be out in it. But you want to wear the right clothes. That's really important. You have to be sure that you're dressed properly. For whatever the weather, don't try and go out in, I don't know, freezing temperatures in a pair of flip-flops. That's not going to work. Make sure that you're warm. You can always take a layer off. Take a backpack with you and take a layer off if you get too hot. But make sure that you're dressed properly, because then you're going to enjoy it and you're going to stay out a little bit longer. And you're also going to realise that actually, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit wet, it's just rain. So, have I encouraged you to get outside and enjoy some Friluftsliv? I hope so. I'm talking about it all the time. So I really hope that it encourages you to get out there and enjoy a little bit of being outdoors. There are so many reasons to get out, but the biggest ones are our mental health and our physical health. It's really good for us, even a short time. And if we can do it every day, that's wonderful. But if you can't do it every day and you can only do it once a week, please try and get out. Think about all the reasons why it's good for you. There must be something here on this list that I've given you that really resonates with you, even if it's just one thing. You want to challenge yourself. You want to forget about your worries for a little bit, for an hour, a couple of hours. Or you want to enjoy something that's not consumer-based. So do send me a message or come into my Facebook page or my Facebook group and tell me how you're enjoying Friluftsliv. I'd love to hear about it because, as I say, I'm talking about it all the time and I'd love to hear your experiences. And I'll see you in the next episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters so you can get an email when I release a new episode. It's a quick and easy way to keep up with all things Nordic living. Please visit livinganordiclife.com. You can listen to Living a Nordic Life on lots of podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and plenty of others. If you've enjoyed the Living a Nordic Life podcast, why not leave me a rating? So that's the end of Living a Nordic Life for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.